I'm just not somebody that, wants to have big parties. I don't want to celebrate my birthday. Like, I'm not a big birthday person. I'm everybody else's big birthday person. Like, I'm like, what are we doing? How are we going to make it special? But for me, like, I want to just slink. Like, if I could slink in my car, like underneath the table, that's how I feel about it. And so it was like, oh, interesting, Jennifer. So now these experiences have become your beliefs, have become your identity, say your personality is who you are.
Yeah. The I am statements. I am
I
this.
am.
I am
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I am not a center of attention. I am not a person who likes their birthday. I am not this. I am not that. I am not a needy person. I don't ask for help because I'm so hyper independent. Red flag for anyone that can see me on YouTube. Red flag, red flag. Hi, I'm Jen.
Hey, I'm Suzanne.
Today we are talking about episode 4. This is a follow-up to when I had the, I don't want to throw a party for myself hissy fit. Do you remember that, Suzanne?
I do. I do. And I remember all the responses you got, which is like, I'll come to your party. I'll come to your party.
I know. And what was funny is, and I hope you go back and listen to episode 4, was that Suzanne and I both had the same reaction.
Well, first, I think you need to back up and just give them a quick recap of what 4 was.
Yes. Absolutely. So 4 was, I can cry at my party if I want to, I think is the name of it, something to that effect. And it was about it was about our podcast production person. She was like, hey, and you guys need to do a launch party. And I felt this like, oh my God, I am not doing a launch party. And so we hung up and we immediately called each other and we're like, this is crazy. She wants us to throw a party for herself. And this is my sarcastic voice. And you and I were like, yeah, we're not doing that. We are definitely not doing that. Yeah. And then the whole episode is about how my husband came in, was asking me to shift my perspective, and how you ended up having a party. And I was just sort of in this place of I need to unpack some stuff. So the good news is, and why we're revisiting, is we had a post-launch podcast party here in Dallas, and Suzanne flew out for it. And then I tied it to my 50th birthday. So it is launching, air quotes, if you can see this on YouTube, launching Jen into 50. And it was all about, starting my 50s, starting this podcast, starting my business. It was just like a fun, I guess, new chapter of life, I would call it. And it was, what did you think?
It was so fun. And I was so proud of you for doing it because like we said, there was a visceral reaction. Mm. I will say I enjoyed your party more than my own. Not because of the guests, but just for the same things that there's just a little bit more relaxation when it's things we're still working through, are not fully healed version, but are much more healed version of ourselves.
Yes. And I had I didn't play small. I had a proper party at an event, at a restaurant. We rented out a room. I invited, I think 70 people. It was an event. I forced myself not to play small, which was a really big deal for me. And everyone was like, are you so excited about your party? Are you so excited about your party? I can't wait to come to your party. And the whole time, I was sick to my stomach for an entire week, leading up to it. It was one thing to plan it because it was 2 months away. And it was another thing to actually do it, to the point where that morning I had to take time to myself and really reflect and show up and decide, as we always say, that I was going to enjoy myself. I was going to allow people to show up for me. I was going to allow people to be excited for me, allow people to express their love and joy for me. And if you're listening to this and this feels very close to home, you are not alone. If you're listening to this and you're what in the world is she talking about? I am so excited for you because I cannot wait to be who you are already and letting
Right.
people show up for you. The podcast is about today is I wanted to dig into like, where did the idea of like, I don't want to throw a party for myself come from? And I'm curious, Suzanne, like, where did it come from for you?
Yeah. So I threw my podcast actually, 2 months ago, my podcast launch party. And I remember both of us had a very visceral reaction of, oh my gosh. And then we both had the realization that we were playing small, that if we put it and I think though for different reasons, right? So for me, it was like, if I'm out there, I might fail. And what if our podcast fails? And what if everyone thinks I'm an idiot? And what if all the what ifs about the success and the achievement of it?
Yes.
And so for me, it was also like asking friends to support me and other people to support me and to accept that love. Those were really the twofold reasons that it was really, really hard for me to show up for myself, and that I had to also do the same thing sitting in front of my mirror at my house and saying, hey, these people love you. They're here to support you. They don't care about your achievement of your podcast. They care about the person you are. I had to also continue to say what's an achievement for purposes of the podcast, but that's a whole other issue, right? But I think that those were very like letting people love me and support me for just who I am. And we did the same. I showed up and was just like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was super nervous.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare like a speech or anything. Like I just spoke off the cuff, and it turned into a lovely event. And I'm so glad that I did it. But like I said, I enjoyed yours much more because I just had to show up as me. And
as like the sidekick, like
the
not the main
sidekick.
event. You in your mind, you're like, well, I'm just the sidekick. I mean, because that's how I felt. Because I was on video for yours, and people were like, "Oh, you're her sister," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just like over here on video," because it was actually, and yours was a little different because it was the day before it launched, so like no one knew what it was about. So I will say there was slightly different vibe, I guess, because yours was truly pre-launch and mine, we called it post-launch. So we were coming up to our 25th episode when we had the party. And
I think that's a really good point, because I was like trying to describe what the podcast was and like what we were doing, and people were like, you're doing what? Like, wait, what's happening here? Where I felt like by the time we got to yours, like, as we said, I showed up and people were like, Suzanne, and I'm like, who are you? And I don't like, these intimate details about me, but hi. And like, it was a different acceptance of love at that point.
Yeah. And it was two different vulnerabilities. It's the vulnerability of the unknown, and then at yours, and then the vulnerability of like, oh my gosh, I have said crazy things. And all you know about me is that I'm crazy, or like, we're not crazy, right? We're expressing the crazy thoughts. The thoughts are crazy. We are not crazy. So what I realized is I like really deep dove this, because this comes up for me a lot. No matter what I achieve, I don't want to be seen. So like a year or so ago, I was like #1 in my company for sales. And while I was super excited, it was like, I just wanted to know for me that I did it. But like all the other folderol was horrible for me. Like I didn't want any special attention. Like I just wanted the trip, and I wanted, like, I just want to know that I did it. So like gold star. See, I am a gold star chaser sometimes. And I wanted the trip. And because it was to Spain, and who doesn't want to go to Spain? And then other than that, I was like, I don't like, please don't call me up on stage. Please don't, like, all of that, just the whole anxiety. So I realized like, this keeps coming up for you, Jen. I think we need to deep dive this one with a discovery. So this episode is totally on my discovery. And so what I realized is it's very similar to your episode you did on labels. We have these ideas that are formed, but they become our beliefs. They become our identity. They become what we think our personality is. And so for me, being seen, being praised, being like needy, like I consider asking people for help needy. let's just start there. Asking people for things, whether not even to show up for me, just asking for something that I want.
Yeah.
These were things that were threatening when I was younger. Like that was not to be had. Those things are off limits. And I had reactions from people that made me know that that is not something I should be doing. And that if I was getting any sort of praise that went beyond a certain point, that there would be repercussions. And so, as a survival mechanism, as all kids do, no matter what you're exposed to, I decided that those things were unsafe and I was not going to do them anymore. And I took that and made it a belief system. So things I tell myself is like, I'm just like not somebody that likes to be the center of attention. I'm just not somebody that wants to have big parties. I don't want to celebrate my birthday. I don't want, like, I'm not a big birthday person. I'm everybody else's big birthday person. Like, I'm like, what are we doing? How are we going to make it special? But for me, like, I want to just slink. Like, if I could slink in my car, like underneath the table, that's how I feel about it. But for other people, I'm so excited to celebrate them. And so it was like, oh, interesting, Jennifer. So now these experiences have become your beliefs, have become your identity, how I say your personality is, who you are.
Yeah. The I am statements. I am this. I am that.
Yeah. I am not a center of attention. I am not a person who likes their birthday. I am not this. I am not that. I am not a needy person. I don't ask for help because I'm so hyper independent. Red flag. Red flag for anyone that can see me on YouTube. Red flag. Red flag.
And I find it interesting.
Things to be proud of.
When you just spoke, you said the word, I think 2 or 3 times, and I think it's very telling. You said the word needy.
Yes.
Needy was not a safe thing. If you were in need of something, that was not safe. Because what I do find interesting is that, as we've discussed, like, you're very much connection based. I'm very much process based. And you would think, I think a lot of people would think, because I speak about being a gold star chaser in a lot of ways and like seeking achievement, that I would seek recognition. I do not seek recognition. Just what you were saying, like getting on stage for a trophy. Do I want the trophy? Hell yes. Do I want the achievement? Hell yes. And do I want to know it so that if I ever had to defend myself?
Defend yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. But just to be able to go out in the world and be like, I'm a star, feels so like slimy, like feel it in my body. So I do find it interesting. And I think this is when you growing up a certain way, that you can be very different human beings and process things very differently, but still be very affected by the way that you grew up. And I think that's important, and something to note.
Yes. I think what was the most surprising to me is that this whole identity, like this whole, like, I mean, I'm turning 50, like we just talked about. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't been a kid since, like, let's just say, more like early 20s, right? Like, cause you're still sort of, depending on how you grew up, kind of still a kid, a big kid. But like for at least half of my life, let's just say the other 25 years, I have lived with this belief and identity that came from something that has no meaning in the world I live in now. It has no meaning. I mean, it has meaning because I've given it meaning, but like, that's not who I want to be. That's not what I want to teach my kids to be. That's not who I want my husband to feel, like I don't want anyone else to feel the way I feel, but yet I am doing this to myself, if that makes sense.
Well, what I'm hearing is like, you realize they're an issue, right? You're like, oh, okay, I've discovered something's wrong here. Like, why do we have this like very strong reaction? And then you were like, okay, I'm going to unpack this. And you even, I think what's interesting, and I think you should give yourself credit for, was like, you were like, I need some time to unpack. Like, I know this one's like one of the deeper ones. And so that's what you were able to take that and then show up. Like you said, you had to sit down in your hotel room and be like, I'm going to shift my perspective and show up as this person, as a new identity, as someone who is looking for love and support and is going to take action, as we've said, and let the feeling follow, right? Your action
Yeah.
was, I'm showing up at this party as this new identity of someone who is going to be loved and supported and seen. I'm going to
Yeah.
be the center of attention. And you did. You walked around the party, you spoke to everyone, you got up in front of everyone. And I mean, you did the damn thing. Like, good
Yeah.
job. And so my question to you is how did you feel afterwards?
I felt so loved and so cared for, and my cup, I think I told you, like, my cup was so full. Like, my love cup, I wrote it down. I journaled, like, all day. I mean, by Saturday, I was exhausted, but on Sunday, I journaled because I'm like, "I need to remember this feeling next time I try to lie to myself." Like, next time I believe, like, I could almost cry. Like, next time I believe those lies, I need to refer back to what is true and what is real, which is I have really amazing friends. I have friends from the olden days,
Yeah,
from back in the day, and I have new friends and they want to show up for me. And I think what I need to remember and what I wrote in capital letters is you are safe. You are safe to be seen. You are safe to do big things. You are safe to ask your friends to show up. You are safe even if they can't show up, right? Like, because what I realized is like, okay, so what's the worst case scenario here, right? Like you were saying about your lunch party, like that people don't understand what I'm doing, don't care, right? Like, so for me, it was like, okay, so people show up or they can't show up, right? Like they
sure.
have something going on, right? Like a bunch of people couldn't show up for various reasons. But at no point did I ever think to myself, oh, well, see, they don't love me. They don't care about me. I'm not important to them. They have stuff going on. And they were sending me messages like, I'm so sad I can't make it. I celebrate you. Like the sweetest messages. So it was like, what lie was I actually believing? Right. Because in the current time I'm in reality, which is, 2025, none of those things are true. And when I mean, who doesn't want to be in a room full of like your most favorite people? Like, who doesn't want that? It's like, it's literally the best thing. It's kind of like, I think back to my wedding when it was like, it's all your favorite people are there. Like,
Yeah,
why would you not want that? You know?
yeah,
But for us, it was very unsafe to do all those things. And what I have to realize now is that as adults, it is safe. And more importantly, beyond realizing that for myself, is like, hey, like I do this a lot. We talk about it a lot. And obviously, it's part of my job with moms and teen girls. But what beliefs am I giving to my kids, right? Like, am I passing on the fact that because I might say, hey, have a birthday for yourself and be seen and do all these things and invite your friends. But then they're like, yeah, but mom doesn't do that. Why doesn't
well,
mom do that?
and ironically, I mean, I called you, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago and was like, you know what I
Yeah.
realized after these two launch parties, that me not
Yes,
being a
you did.
birthday person, I just called you and was
Yeah.
like, I don't show my kids that I need to have a birthday. My husband doesn't
Yeah.
show, like, we don't celebrate birthdays to make them something, like, I'll do it for the kids, but we don't
Yeah.
show them what that's like. So, like, they're going to go on with the belief of you only get a birthday when you're a kid. Like, you don't get to
Yeah.
have needs and do those things. So, like, when we're
Yes.
saying we're healing in real time, peeps, like, we are healing in real time. Like, we are right
With
there with
you.
you. And like
Yes.
the more healed version, that I came to that a lot quicker
Hmm.
realization
Yeah.
than I would have 2 or 3 years ago. Like now it's like, oh, okay, no. And I can actively get to that change faster. And to me, that's what's so beautiful about healing and about continuing to take step after step. And in this case, recognizing it didn't feel safe for us to have needs. It didn't feel safe
Yes.
for us to have wants.
Yes.
We can go searching for what that means. We can go searching for why it happened or why we feel that way,
Yeah.
but ultimately, you and I want to move forward. Like, how do
Yes.
we move forward and then also change that for our kids? And like
Yes.
when I'm talking with the moms that I work with, it's like, hey,
Hmm.
you can still find joy in your life.
Yes.
You can have these beautiful dreams. Like, you are not just mom. You are allowed to have
Yes.
wants and needs, and like, it's okay. And the more
Yes.
you do it, guess what? Ripple effect to your kids because
Yes.
they're watching.
Yes. Yes. And so that, I mean, that's perfect because those were my takeaways is that, survival patterns show up in sneaky ways as identity or personality.
Mm.
And, being aware of that, like just sitting here today and being like, what do I say I am? But like, is that really who I am? Right. Like just sort of like starting to unpack that and being okay with it. Right. And just
Yeah.
exploring, like, first of all, be okay with the discovery. Be okay checking them out. There's no shame in it. And then be curious to explore their validity. Right. Like, is this actually true? Like in my case, I'm like, this is interesting. I want this for my kids. I want this for my husband. I want this for my friends. Why would I not want the same thing for me? Like, where is this coming from? This is weird, right? And then as kids, it wasn't our choice, right? But as adults, like I will die on this soapbox. As adults, it's our assignment. We are the ones that have a choice now. We didn't have a choice then, but we do have a choice now. And as parents specifically, like I believe it's our duty to break these toxic beliefs and create new ones for ourselves and our kids and help them see that you can change at any time. Like whoever you are, like you were saying in another episode, like you always can reinvent yourself. You don't have to be who you are or who you think you are. You can literally decide, another one of our favorite words, today, that you're not doing that anymore. And I decided after I finally forced myself, right? Take action and the feelings will follow. Here's a great example of it. I took action. I made, the reservations at the restaurant. We sent out the invitations for my 50th and my launch party. And the feelings are coming after. My cup is full. I am loved. I am safe. Like all these things I'm learning. And now to your point, I'm like, you know what? I am going to celebrate my birthday and I am going to invite friends over. And, you're right. Like I am going to do these things from here on out. And I am going to live my birthday the same way I want my birthday for my kids and my husband and my friends.
Yeah. And I think too, like,
she's like,
and again, the ripple effect, right? A ripple affected to me. Like, and that's the beautiful thing about having a sisterhood is that when we talk about a sisterhood, it's not necessarily all your healing gets done on your own. Sometimes your healing gets done with the women around you or the people around you who are also healing. And this is why a sisterhood that we believe in so strongly. So to wrap it all up, question right now to you, my friend, like, is there some identity that you have? Like when you make a statement of, I am this, is it true? Just one. Start with one and we'll go from there. So that's it for today.
We hope you discovered something in my story.
We'll see you next time. Same place, same sisterhood. Bye.
Bye.